applying that verse of not loving money? Like, how can people put that into action?
Yeah, this is again, I've made videos about this too, because people, if you don't, they think if you don't understand it, then you don't love it. But if you don't understand it, then it just controls you. Then it does become your master because you don't know how to control your own finances. Um, so I think it starts right there. If it starts with just understanding how to control your finances. Um, it again, it just goes back to somebody with $1 doesn't make you any less evil than somebody with $1 million. The only difference is they understand their money. Again, it's a it's a mental roadblock. People just need to get over that roadblock. Understand your money so it doesn't control you.
100% right. 100% right. So outside of that scripture, what are some other Bible principles that you try to apply to your daily life, to your finance, to your business?
Um, I mean, there's a lot, but the one that I personally like is I think Luke 14:28. It talks about if you're going to build a tower, aren't you first going to sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have the money to finish building it? Um, that's talking about it's just plan, budget, make a plan for your finances and actually follow it. Because when you plan, a lot of the other principles kind of just they fall into place with that. You do when you're planning, you're doing your research. When you do your research, you find that you should be diversifying your investments. You should be budgeting everything. You should, um, well, for one, just be investing your money. Uh, that's a great verse for that one is in Matthew 25, the parable of the talents,
Yeah,
where he's talking about he gave the talents to three different servants. Two of them went out and turned it into more money and returned it back. And one of them took the one talent he was given and just hid it and did nothing with it. And the master comes back and says, you could have at least given it to the bank, so I would have at least received some interest. I think, but yeah, going back to the first point, just plan. Matthew, no, Luke 14:28. I think that's what it is. Plan and budget.
that's great. So how important is for a Christian to understand their finance and also, keep these biblical principles?
I think the biblical principles, like we're talking about finance right now, but these principles, it's for every area of our lives, and that's what people refuse to see. It's it includes our finances, but if they don't understand, they think they don't have to worry about it. But these principles are for every area of your life. Um, can you ask that question again? I'm sorry. When I
Uh,
talk about this, I get real interested in about things, and I get off topic.
you're free to say as you go. There's no like limit. As I'm trying to well, the question I was asking is in terms of being a Christian, how important is having your finance under control? One, and I'm afraid, yeah, one. And how do you get your finance under control?
Okay, that's where I was going. Okay, thank you. It applies to every area of your life, and it's important to remember that God. I saw this in a podcast, and that really changed everything. But God cares more than we do. He cares about our finances more than we do. So if you think you care about your own finances, you think you care about your own business, God cares 10 times more. Um, so it's important to remember that. And if God cares, then obviously you should care. And everything that we do, we should be doing it with everything that we have. So it's important to keep it under control though, because again, if it does become your master, then it's an idol. Um, if we're just talking about finance, obviously money is the idol, but again, it could be anything. That's why it's so important to understand it's not just limited to one thing. An idol is not just one thing. It could be literally anything you place above God or and other people. So you have to understand how to control that, how to be generous, even if you have nothing, or even if you have a lot. But I think that's it. It's just understanding God cares more than we do. Understanding God cares, so we should care. If God cares, we care, then we should be spreading it.
That's great. And how do you go about applying that? Like, you personally go about applying these biblical principles into your daily lives. Like, you can give us like some
How do
examples.
I apply that? Well, so I'm not a millionaire. Obviously, I'm working to get there, but it's just with what I have, be generous with it. That includes knowledge, not just money. That includes knowledge, which is what I'm trying to do, which is why I have the TikTok account, putting just free value out. Um, just be generous with everything that you have. It's not just money, it's with spreading the word, um, spreading your money, I guess. Uh, give what you're able to give. That's all it is. Give what you're able to give.
That's definitely great. So how do you go about budgeting? Let's actually dive into so how you go about budgeting as a Christian. How would you recommend a Christian go about budgeting?
Budgeting again. Okay, this I'm not. I'm studying finance, so I think make it clear none of anything that we're saying is professional advice, but
Yeah.
it's sticking to what you've said. Um, Personally, for any money that I make, I save and invest at least like 50%. I know other people have different rules, but I think a safe thing to do is save at least 50%, but also invest it. The other 50% goes towards what you need, maybe 40% what you need, 10% what you want,
Okay.
because if you're constantly buying just things that you want, not that you need, um, this is also, it's a biblical um, principle. It's in Proverbs. I can't remember the exact verse, but it says something like, those who look rich may be poor, those who appear to be poor may also be rich. Um, that's something like when you see a billionaire just wearing $20 t-shirt, because he knows how to allocate his money. He's budgeting it, he's saving and investing, so his money turns into more money, and he's buying just what he needs, not typically what he wants, although he can buy as much as he wants. But that's
That's,
it. Invest.
and how do you personally go about
Investing, I do get this question a lot too. I For me, it's always long term. uh, but I have, like I said, I have over more than what's in my bank account. I have that invested. I have more invested than what's in my bank account, which is kind of tough. But then it makes you, when you invest long term, if you're struggling for money, I still would not recommend selling your investments, because when you're struggling for money, it's just going to make you work a little bit harder to make up for that. But the thing about investing is, the longer you have the investment, if you pick the right investments, the longer you have it, the more it'll grow in long term. It's compound interest. So if I can give investment advice, which I'm not, I always invest long term.
Okay, and when you
At
talk
least
about